Hello, my name is Varvara Antoniou and I'm a geologist and GIS person working as a laboratory teaching staff at National and Kapodistrias University of Athens in Greece. With this lecture, I will introduce you to GIS story maps as an interactive tool to explore extreme environments. Extreme environments are areas on Earth that present harsh conditions such as extreme temperatures, pressures, or chemical imbalances which challenge most forms of life. Despite these obstacles, these environments host unique ecosystems and organisms that exhibit incredible adaptations, making them of great scientific interest. Studying these areas not only sheds light on Earth's biodiversity and the limits of life, but also provides insights into the effects of climate change and environmental pressures. By exploring extreme environments and communicate our findings, we can recognize the importance of preserving these invaluable ecosystems for future discoveries. But communicating information about extreme environments presents several challenges. These environments are often located in remote and inaccessible regions, making them difficult to study and visualize. The scientific data gathered from these places is usually complex, involving highly specialized terminology and advanced research techniques that can be hard for the general public to understand. Additionally, there is often limited awareness about these ecosystems' importance, despite their unique biodiversity and role in Earth's ecological balance. Bridging the gap between scientific research and public understanding is crucial for raising awareness and promoting conservation efforts. Having these challenges in mind, we can say that GIS technology can provide a powerful framework not only for managing and analyzing spatial data, but also for visualizing purposes through web apps known as GIS story maps. These tools leverage the power of geographic information systems to address the complexities of communicating about extreme environments. So what is a GIS story map? It is an innovative tool designed specifically for interactive storytelling by integrating geographic information with a narrative to engage viewers effectively, transforming in that way traditional storytelling into dynamic experiences that resonate with audiences. And what elements can we use into a GIS story map? We can use interactive maps, multimedia contents, and narrative structure. Let's see why these components are important. Maps are universally appealing and are highly efficient information providers. Researchers have discovered why it is easy for us to communicate with maps. It seems like we possess something very much like a mental map or series of maps deep within our brains. Within a region called the endocrine cortex reside areas of grid cells that are arranged in hexagonal patterns which are stacked in layers corresponding to various scales in the physical world. Areas near the top of the stack are spaced more closely together and aid navigation over shorter distances, while as we move across a room or a landscape, these grids apparently light up in patterns that approximate our real-world movements. These arrays of grid cells communicate with clusters of specialized cells nearby, called place cells. These cells seem to store information about specific locations like head direction, movement and speed, or proximity to barriers and boundaries. These specialized cells are found within the hippocampus, which also functions as a kind of memory processor that integrates and consolidates information from our short-term recollections and files it away as long-term memories. Maps are also stories, as they are simplifications, distillations, and interpretations of a hugely complex world and can reveal hidden patterns and relationships. Users can interact with them through zooming and panning and by selecting individual data to reveal more info. This interactive feature not only provides essential spatial context, but also keeps users engaged by allowing them to explore data in a more meaningful way. Another important component is multimedia content. Statistics show that humans respond dynamically to content with visual elements, such as video and photos. A content with visual elements gets 90% more views and it is 40% more likely to be shared. Last but not least, the narrative structure. We have used this way of communication since we were very young, since our birth, when our parents told us fairy tales to sleep, or when we listened to the elders telling us about the customs and traditions of our country, or even a myth. And this way of communication is the most powerful one. Look at the screen how many different words we have for the same thing, the narration. But it's not only that we have used to hear narrations. It has been also proven that narration activates a neurochemical called oxytocin that makes people feel more cooperative. Having all that in mind, this new tool, that in reality it is an online web application that looks like a web page, activates both sides of the brain. The left one that deals with logic, analysis and objectivity, that reacts to maps, stimulating rational thinking, and the right one that deals with intuition, thought attention and subjectivity, that reacts to multimedia content and text eliciting emotions. Although nowadays many story maps platforms exist, the first company that introduced us this tool was EasyRI. Summarizing, story maps offer several key benefits by merging visual and narrative elements. They increase audience interest and retention by combining interactive maps with storytelling, enhancing engagement. By organizing data into digestible formats, it simplifies complex topics, making the information more accessible to a wider audience. Their versatility allows them to be applied across various fields such as education, marketing, and public outreach, demonstrating their broad utility. Now let's see an example. This is a story map about the ocean floor mapping. The narration starts with a video showing a mapped ocean floor and continues with a presentation of its creator, the Applied Oceans Research Group. After that, the central idea of the story map is announced: how ocean technologies are used for benthic habitat mapping, whereas a video demonstrates the world's seafloor as it is known by satellites from far away, but also zooming in on different locations. The presentation of the technological tools used for seafloor mapping starts with a side panel having two slides. The first presenting the airborne and satellite remote sensing techniques side by side with an image showcasing the areas where each technology can be used, and the second one, the acoustic survey technologies, where images demonstrate the way they collect data. The narration continues with backscatter and bathymetry data collection. Again, a side panel with four slides is used. The first one presents how this data can be combined for analysis and spatial integration. The second one is dedicated to ground truthing data that provides imagery for cross-reference with the MBES data. Whereas the third one speaks about the underwater video and photographs that can attribute the appropriate seafloor classification labels to its acoustic class. All these different source data can be then used to produce a thematic map in a GIS environment as shown in the fourth slide and in the video accompanying the narrative. The narration concludes by presenting a dashboard that uses such a thematic map about benthic habitat side by side with statistical info. Users can interact with the map, zooming in and out, as well as selecting a marine protective area or a ground truthing station to see further info. At the end, a summary is given along with the logos of their partners. Do you think that there can be a guide for story map creation? Of course there is. The first step is to decide which audience attention you want to attract. Are you looking for scientists specialized in the presented subject, or is it a story map to inform the public? Keep in mind that each audience needs its way of speaking. You cannot use scientific terminology without explaining it when you address information to the public. And on the other hand, when addressing specific scientists, you don't have to mention general information about the subject presented because it is already familiar to them. The second step is to define the main messages that you would like the audience to keep after completing the narration. The third step is to create a content directory with all available data and multimedia content, and the final one is to structure the outline of the story map as you see in the image. Let's focus on the narrative structure a little bit. Each narration must have a start, a middle, and an end. For a start, try to use a title that grabs the attention of your target audience. As the narration unfolds, it's a good idea to add a tension to wake up your audience and keep their interest to the story. At the end, always finish the narrative with an action, providing the audience a way to do something for the subject presented, like a donation or a read more button. Before starting to deploy your story map, it's a good idea to run it with someone who is part of your target audience to see if it gets all the defined messages, because it is easier to make adjustments at this stage than directly in the web application. Having introduced GIS story maps, I think it is time for you to move forward and, following the workflow presented in the exercise, create first a public account and then your first story map and afterwards your assignment.